Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary?
You're talking to two guys from Hialeah and West Kendall and one with a Raleigh Fingers mustache, so I think you're good.
Ricky Vaughn style, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Who flips their bat like that in a single?
I'm here for
A guy that's hitting 200, bro.
Listen, you paid $5 for your ticket, even if you're sitting behind home plate.
Skip gets paid the big bucks. He knows a little better than I do.
And he's very handsome.
So handsome.
super handsome. Super handsome.
Your expectations as a Marlins fan should have changed by now.
All the feels, man. Like, I love Pablito so much.
I don't think he's your ball.
It depends on what you give up,
I
man.
don't like that question, Danny.
I don't.
Why would you let me see it if I can't have it? Like, I feel like the Marlins.
Jerk.
Starting staff has looked so much better.
All three of them.
I'm looking forward to this one, guys.
I believe.
The Marlins have the worst run differential in the National League.
Oh man, now this was the wrong choice, but
I am ready to get hurt again.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 34 of the Battered Marlins Fans podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside of me, as always, I have actually two Battered fans. Usually it's three other ones, but we got two other Battered fans. Spaz is out doing his husband duty. Shout out to you. Hope all is good. Let's start from my left to your right. Callie, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. Dealing with a sick child these days, so by osmosis, I too am feeling it. A couple of long nights, but I'm here, baby. I'm ready to talk to fish. Spring training is among us. Watched the first spring training game of the year today, where the Dodgers put up 8 runs on the Padres in the first. Baseball's back, man. I'm pumped. I'm happy to be here.
Baseball is back, but I think the most exciting news of the day, I feel like it's necessary to throw it over to my guy over here, Brenton. He's been singing this man's praises and been dying for a certain signing. So go ahead. We're not even.
I like your flowers.
I'm not even introing. Just go straight to it. How you doing, Brenton? How do you feel about Mr. Tim Anderson officially being a Miami Marlin?
The only person doing better than me is probably Tim Anderson himself. He's happy to be here. All the swag our team's gonna have now. We've got our everyday shortstop. He's ready to go. No better place to come and turn the clock back and get back to hitting 300 right behind Luis Ariz in the lineup. Man, I could not be happier. And unlike if we would have gotten him at the deadline, we would not. We didn't give up anything. We just gave the guy $5 million and said, "Come on down, man." Approve
it deal. 1 year, $5 million. How do you think that infield looks now? We got Tim Anderson at short. Do you think Luis Suarez stays at second, or do you think they move him to first?
Ariz, I think they could slide him over to first, because it depends on what X does in spring training. If he shows out, I think he has a legitimate chance at the second base job. Because Ariz is I think he's a better defender at first than Bell. Not that Bell's bad, but I think he's probably just better as a DH for us. And then Burger at third, I'm happy with.
With the introduction of the DH in the NL now, it's possible, right? Because we have Burger and Bell. We could slot one of them into the DH spot. Callie, what do you think?
So there's a lot of layers with the Tim Anderson signing, right? 1 year, $5 million. So not a massive investment in general baseball terms, but a pretty big investment in terms of the Marlins. He immediately becomes, I think, our third highest paid player with that. So there's two ways of looking at Tim Anderson, right? So the best case scenario is we get 2019 Tim Anderson where he hits over 300. He's never hit more than 18 bombs in a season, but I think Lone Depot Park can be a little more friendly towards that, especially on the Deadpool side. Not particularly spectacular infielder, but definitely the best shortstop we're gonna have on the roster. If the infield is Bell, Ariz, Burger, and Anderson, that's pretty bad defensive infield if we're being completely and totally honest. So I could see a world where X plays second, Ariz moves over to first, and you kind of have Bell DHing, and then he'll come in and play first some games, and even maybe Burger DHing on days that Birdie comes in and plays, and Birdie can kind of stick to being that super utility role we have, which is awesome. He's flourished in that, and I don't think he's the type of guy that needs the pressure of playing every single day, and having to kind of carry the role of a starting shortstop for a major league team. So I think it's solid given the options that were available at shortstop, and that it was a glaring need that the Marlins had. I think it's awesome. I think it's great. Now, if we get 2019 or 2021 Tim Anderson, fantastic. If we get 2022, 2023 Tim Anderson.
But even 2022, he was batting over 300.
He hit 301.
Okay, 2023.
He was still hitting over 300.
2023, he was particularly terrible. I think it's interesting that Berger had some comments that he said himself that he thinks that Tim wanted a change of scenery even last year. I guess he just wasn't happy in Chicago anymore, which makes sense. It wasn't a team that was competing for anything. It wasn't a team that had any ambition. A team that's very, very clearly in a rebuild. How they haven't traded Dylan Cease yet for real prospects or anything is beyond me, but we'll see how that turns out. But
since you were talking about his stats, let me just throw him up there real quick for you. So statistically throughout his career, since 2019, he was batting over 300, right? 335 in 2019, 322, 2020, 309, 2021, 301, 2022. And then last year just took a huge dip, batting 245, struck out 122 times. It just obviously wasn't a good year for him. But, I mean, if Spaz was here, I'd be asking him if he thinks that the Cafecito is going to kind of turn him up. Because I feel like a change of scenery, it's always beneficial for a lot of these major league players, especially when they have a down year. He also only played 79 games.
Yeah. And with Tim Anderson, the ceiling's there. The ceiling's palpable. I mean, having 4 years in a row hitting over 300 is nothing to scoff at. Absolutely nothing to scoff at. His OPS is solid, nothing spectacular, but we saw a 3-year stretch where it was at over 800, which is what you want. I think that if we can get that type of production and maybe a change of scenery gets that, and everyone keeps touching on, the culture that Skip has set in the clubhouse, yeah, maybe he's a prime bounce back candidate. We have a good productive year from him. I don't think he resigns with us, but that's awesome. That's what we want. But if we get a replay of last year, then it's ugly. But he did have a very, very good 4 or 5 year stretch here that we need to bank on coming back. And I think with guys like him, I think it's easy to look at the Marlins clubhouse and see kind of the culture growing there and the kind of the personalities. And I think he fits in there, especially with the Burger, which he's familiar with, Jazz, Nick Gordon now, Josh Bell, Arise, all these guys, Sandy, Yuri, Garrett, that they're all like uber positive, like always laughing, always smiling type of guys. I think that's a great recipe for what the Marlins are trying to accomplish. I still don't think this team is very much a competitor. I think we can still win, between 75, 85 games. I'd probably hover right around the 80 mark. But it can be fun and exciting baseball, which is all we want, right? We want to be close. We want to be close in October, right? We want to be in the hunt. So
you don't think that they're a competitor as far as chasing the World Series title or a playoff team? Because I think that they still have a chance to make the playoffs. And
I think it's playoff. It's a playoff team, like a
borderline playoff team.
Yeah,
we're not going to win the division, but
no,
we'll be in contention for the wild card.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Phillies and Braves got a lot better. They definitely got a lot better, and especially like the Braves taking a flyer on Chris Sale, and obviously they're the Braves. They lost nothing. They gained a few more. That's a team to beat. I still think the team to beat in the National League even more so than the Dodgers. The Phillies got better. The Phillies are still good. So we're competing for the third spot in the East. And especially with the Mets with Kodai Senga apparently going to be out for a while now. And they have zero pitching. The Mets are absolutely shambolic. The Nationals are like, give me a fucking break. Like, they're the fucking Nationals. But, this is a team that I think can conceivably win, 80 games, maybe in a solid year, get to that 85, 86 number that we talked about so much last year. And, this is, hopefully we stay healthy now in spring training, and things go our way, and we capitalize off of that. But we have to see. It's exciting though. I mean, if you look at all the guys we lost, especially in terms of the lineup and who we replaced them with, we got better in that regard. We definitely got better in that regard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be, how do these guys stick? How does Tim Anderson stick? How does Nick Gordon produce? Is there anybody else that they're gonna go chase? Is JD Martinez a real option still?
If we were to get JD Martinez, does that all of a sudden change your perspective on we should be a playoff team?
Yeah, we absolutely should be a playoff team if we sign JD Martinez.
Yeah.
That's 30 home runs. That's 30 home runs playing at home. It changes the dynamic in the infield a lot because JD Martinez cannot play in the outfield, so he's going to be a full-time DH,
Right.
Which means you can't DH Bell, which means probably X becomes a utility
X
role,
loses a spot for sure,
or X loses a spot altogether. But I think we still have, if I'm now with TA, I think we still have one more spot left in the 40-man. So,
yeah, I think JD Martinez is possible. I think it'll probably be something where maybe like 2 weeks, 3 weeks into spring training, we see him signed. If that's the way we go, because I think a lot of that depends on X's performance early in spring training. If he's looking like he's ready to take on that second baseman role, I think just because of the limitations with Martinez, I think maybe they don't pull the trigger. But if he's ready, or if X stumbles, I think there's a real possibility we can make that happen.
JD Martinez made $10 million last year. Do you think he would come to play back to? He's from Miami. Do you think he would come to play for a hometown discount? Maybe kind of like a 6-7 mil.
I think at this point in his career, yeah, because he's.
So do I.
He's not young anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
36, I believe.
Yeah, I played against him in high school.
Him.
I played against him in high school, and he's older than me. He's 4 years older than I. He's 2 or 3 years older than I am, I think. So he's got to be 35, 36 at this point. He's a guy that he has one contract left in him. I mean, he's coming off a 30 home run season. Maybe he wants to play at home. Maybe he takes the hometown discount. That's a guy I would love to. That's a guy I would love to roll. The Marlins won't pay him $10 million because it's the Marlins.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Do that.
Or maybe it's like a 6-7 million.
If he'll play for 6 or 7, but he's a guy that also he can hold out. He can wait for some injuries to happen, or a team that says fuck, we're a bat away. That's a bigger payroll, and he can make 10, 12 million this year. So maybe that's what he's holding out on too. So we'll see.
Well, I agree with you. If we get him, all of a sudden I'm thinking it has to be playoffs. Brian, if you had do you think we get JD Martinez? I don't know how else to say it, just straight up. Do you think we land JD Martinez?
No. As much as I would love to have him, I think that there's a path to get him, but I don't think we're
he's taking that discount.
That cash.
I think that they might go 6-7.
I think they would go 6 or 7, and I could see him taking a bit of a discount if he thinks, especially after Tim Anderson signed, if he's the Marlins are probably going to be able to sneak into the playoffs. And what a cool story if he was able to give us our first playoff win at Lone Depot, or first playoff game at Lone Depot. He was part of that. That might appeal to him. But
if you think about it, think Arise, Tim Anderson, Berger, Bell, JD Martinez, and Jazz. In what order? I don't know, but top 6 right there. And then you got DLC, you got Sanchez, and then you got Betancourt. I think
we'll see a lot of opportunity between Betancourt and Fortes, but yeah.
Right. But I think that that's a solid squad. Do I think it's
real solid.
A World Series contender? Maybe not, but I definitely think it's a playoff team. And once you get into playoffs, it's all pitching at that point. So who knows what happens at that point?
Yeah, but I think I saw Mish put out a tweet that there's nothing cooking.
Yeah, I saw that earlier too.
He said we were in on a pitcher and it didn't work out, and
the pitcher ended up working out because we signed Vladimir Gutierrez to
Ooh, beautiful radio job there, Cali. And as we segue over, Vladimir Gutierrez signed minor league contract with the Miami Marlins. Cali, what are your thoughts on Vladimir Gutierrez?
Trash, garbage, terrible.
He's our new Cueto.
He won't be. I have.
He's not as old as Cueto.
No, he's 28. He's still young. Cuban. He's Cuban. Shout out to the Cubans. You know, one of us. Pretty abysmal numbers in his 2 big league seasons in 2021, 2022. He missed last year with an injury. I don't know if it was Tommy John or what it was, but I know he was out. ERA in his last big league season with the Reds, he had a 5.4 or what was it? I'm losing it. A 7.61 ERA in 10 games, 8 of them starts. Gave up 8 home runs in 10 games, walked 24, struck out 29. His FIP was 6.82. His WHIP was 1.9. I mean, it's bad. Like, I have to believe that this is a guy that's like they're handing him a minor league deal, like probably just AAA depth at this point. You know, if this is a guy that if he's wearing the blue and black, like shit's gone terribly wrong. That if this guy's getting innings for us, because he's.
Do you guys have any idea if he at any point lived in Miami? Is he from Miami? I know he's Cuban, but I swear now that I'm looking at his picture, I swear this guy works out at LA Fitness.
Maybe.
I don't know when I've
makes
seen
sense.
him, but
A Cuban baseball player living in Miami is about as prototypical as it gets.
You know, Melky Cabrera used to work out at my gym in the off season, and it was really weird because he used to go around naked in the locker room and like whip like his friends like with the towels while he's going around the locker room naked. You can't look at Melky Cabrera the same after that.
I coached against his kid once upon a time. He was a pretty good ball player. But
well, I think Gutierrez was one of a couple. I think it was Isaac tweeted it out from Fish on First. They did a showcase at FIU. It was like a couple of Cuban pitchers, and I think he was one of them. So it's possible he goes to your LA Fitness.
Yeah, out here in Kendall, I'm telling you, I'm looking at him. The tattoos on his neck. I'm like,
yeah, he's got 3 spiders on his.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen him. And when I've seen him in the past, I'm like, this guy looks like he might be a ball player, like a baseball player, but like I had no idea who he was. But now that I see his picture, I think he might have worked out in LA Fitness here in Canada.
I'm almost 90% certain he was throwing a bullpen at our school, at the school I work at. The school I work at has a very good baseball program. And there's always guys kind of coming around. The Gurriel brothers were there, a couple other guys, and then I see this just tall dude throwing a pen, and he was throwing hard and stuff like that, but. You know, just the numbers speak for themselves. Unless he has like a real bounce back, I don't see how this guy makes the big league roster. I think he's
hard to bounce back when you were never really there.
There's nothing to bounce back from. Like, but the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you can't bounce back if you were never there. That is true. All right, so we covered 2 new signings, and but let's go on to somebody that could be back on the team, a real bounce back, the man, the myth, the legend. Or so we thought might be Mr. Sixto. I'll let you start on this one, Brent. I know, man. I wish Spaz was here to talk about this one. Breton, your thoughts on the man Sixto?
Oh, man. He's been hanging out with Johnny Cueto. They've got the same body type going now, which for a pitcher is okay. You don't have to be the most athletic guy.
Need. Those are the guys that last a while.
Yeah, he's going to last a while in the minor leagues, and we'll probably never see him again. What was it, Mel? Mel said something like, "Oh yeah, this is not the Sixto I know," something like that. In an interview, he's like, "It's not the same Sixto," which I took it as a negative connotation, but maybe it was good. Yeah. And for anybody who saw Spazzy's tweet where he was like. He's like, oh, when Sixto makes the rotation, nobody better be coming after me. I looked Spazzy in the eye yesterday in person, and I said, there's no way in goddamn hell that you believe that. And he just gave me a smile. So even his biggest fan doesn't believe he's coming back, I don't think.
Kali, do you believe that we finally get to see the man, the myth, the legend, Sixto?
I know this is bad radio, but like I'm rubbing my face in disgust. No, No, I don't think.
No.
I my honest expectation is that he's DFA'd at some point during spring training. Honestly, because at what point do you keep holding on? You'd think a guy that had so much hype around him and is probably starving for a chance to get into the big league club with an opportunity, quite frankly.
Sixto ain't starving for nothing. Starving and Sixto ain't.
I was going to get to that joke and you fucking ruined it. I was going to get there. You had to let me build it up and you fucking ruined it. You'd think this guy would come back in good shape. Like we even see Pablo Sandoval with the Giants come back and the guy's shed like 50 pounds, like just dying for another chance. This guy comes back with, I mean, the only thing that dude's been lifting is croquetas into his mouth at La Ventanita. I don't know if it was one of the Fish on First guys or one of the other Marlins writers, but they clocked his fastball in the simulated batting practice the other day, and he was topping out at 86. And they said the slider looked pretty good, but dude, 86 gets hit hard in this league. Like it gets hit very hard. And people are like, "Oh,
the early 2000s."
Yeah, and
you get away with that.
Yeah, and they said, "Oh, Arise swung and missed." I was like, "Yeah, he swung and missed that one pitch. Like it's gonna happen."
Yeah,
but
you tell me Sixto struck out Arise twice in BP, I'll be impressed because no one strikes out Arise.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the numbers aren't there. He's clearly not in good shape. He's clearly, like it seems like he's not taking this very seriously. Like if you're showing up to spring training with trying to fight for a roster spot, because there's no way you look at this. If the Marlins have anything going for it, it's pitching. If the Marlins have absolutely anything going for it, it's pitching, specifically starting pitching. This guy is so far down the totem pole in terms of who's up next that. What do you keep him around for? Like that's it, man. Like the trade failed. Like it was at the end of the day, it was a bad trade. Like we lost the Real Muto trade by $1 million, and that's okay. Like we're the Marlins, we're used to this. We're battered fans, but man, cut the ties, let it ride. We have enough young arms in the system because. You're looking at a rotation. Our rotation probably today, February 22nd, 2024, it's going to be Luzardo, Yuri, Garrett,
Cabrera.
Rogers, or Cabrera, probably, and then a variation of either Puck. You have Max Meyer, you have Monteverdi, who's probably itching for a chance as well. We have arms there. You have Weathers too. Like all those guys are going to get a shot before Sixto Sanchez. So let's just cut the bullshit. We don't need to keep doing this anymore. Again, I'm fully expecting him to be DFA'd at some point this spring. I can't imagine they keep him in the minors and keep crossing their fingers and hoping this guy becomes something. Like let it go. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that leads me into the next topic real quick. Who are you most looking forward to watching in spring training? I told you I'm not a big spring training watcher. I like to keep up with what's going on and how people are doing, but I don't actually sit down and watch spring training games. But I know you guys do. So, Callie, who are you most looking forward to watching in spring training? I know who Brandon's looking forward to. Who are you looking forward to, Callie?
I mean, what's good is that we didn't lose a lot in the starting lineup, and we lost absolutely nothing in the rotation, which is great. Which still remains to be seen because there's been trade talks or centered.
Yuri, you can technically say.
Yeah, there's been trade talks. Trade talks circling around Cabrera and even Luzardo a bit. I'm not convinced that they make a move anymore at this point unless something really blows them away, or it's just like an impressive haul of prospects or near major league ready guys. So in that regard, like of our starters, like we know what we have. I'd like to see some guys take the jump. I like to see Sanchez become a little more consistent. I'm excited to see guys like Bell and Berger a full year on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But who I'm really excited to see, one is Max Meyer. I'm excited to see how he's bounced back from the TJ, and
that's what I was gonna say.
How I'm excited to see how he's slinging it. I'm excited to see how Puck looks in a starter role. And then on top of that, like X and Amaya, I think are two guys we really need to keep an eye on. Those are guys that are obviously great candidates to probably X more than Amaya at this point, but two guys that are probably primed to have a real role and make some real contributions on the big league level. I think the ceiling is pretty high for both of them, especially X. I'm really, really high on him. His numbers have actually been pretty damn good. He played pretty damn good when he was with the big league club with us. So those are guys that I'm ready to see if they can make the jump and they can really contribute to.
Amaya took a hit with Tim Anderson signing though.
He sure did. He most certainly did. But he's a guy that he plays great defense. He can swing it. I mean, we saw him last year. He's a guy that can definitely contribute, but it's tough to find this, especially with the signing of Tim Anderson.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough to see.
You're not gonna carry Birdie, Amaya, and X.
No,
you're not. Two of those. Yeah, you're taking two.
And one of the Birdie's staying. Birdie's the third highest paid guy on the team, believe it or not. He's staying. Right. So it's going to be up to X and Amaya to fight it out. Obviously, I think X gets the call there, but if Amaya can impress, who knows?
Yeah,
Bratton, who are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, you already took Sixto from two guys. Patrick Monteverde, obviously.
Yep. Okay, I knew that.
I'll keep ringing that bell as much as I can. And one person that I think the organization is probably sleeping on is Troy Johnson. I'm excited to see him in spring training. He is not on the 40-man roster. So, he was probably one of our better hitters in the minor league system last year, if not our best. And for a team that has very little hitting prospects in the system, he's going to be a good one to keep an eye on and see if he can maybe make some disruption and maybe there is a path for him to make this club. So we'll see there. The other last person he just popped into my mind is Griffin Conine. We got a Conine in spring training. Again, so power bat. He had a decent season at Pensacola. I don't expect him to make the major league team, obviously, but I just love the fact that we're gonna have a Conine on the field again.
Okay.
So
another guy that I just thought of that we can keep an eye on is to see if Trey Mancini actually makes the team too. Non-rostered IT. He's a guy that I think he has 3 opt-out options. Again, a guy that he's had some very, very good years, very experienced, and I think he can be a good veteran presence in the locker room. So we'll see if he can ball out and crack this club. And again, it's going to be tough because he's at this point of his career, he's basically a first baseman. So. Yeah.
Am I the only one looking forward to seeing Avi Garcia out in the outfield again?
I think Peter Pratt is pretty excited about that.
I mean, you have to be he's going to be there. He's going to get some time. You just got to try to be positive until he pisses you off again. Let's see. Maybe. No.
I don't know.
I have no hope. I have no hope. I mean, obviously, it's better for us if he does well, but I'm just ready for this fucking guy to be off the books.
I think it's 1 year left, right?
If we can find somebody, I don't think it's 1 year. I'm pretty sure we have 2 more years of Avi.
Oh my God, I'm gonna check that out right now.
As hard as you can, please.
Because I think we signed him to a 4-year deal, so this is he's going into year 3. I
can't believe we gave that fucking guy $12 million a year. That's just absolutely.
Yeah. So it's this year at 12 million, next year at 12 million, and then 2026 it's a club option. It's a club option. So unless he completely blows up, it's just this year and next year. So goodness.
So 2 more years of this shit. So it's gonna be great.
Oh my God, Mike V fucking cooking me in the comments right now. God damn. Christ. I can probably run faster than Higuain right now, though.
You more than likely can. All right,
you're smaller than Higuain now.
Huh?
You're smaller than Higuain now.
I am, and I'm banging in goals when I play pickup, dude. Don't play with me right now.
All right.
So the final topic of the day.
Yes. Let's talk about these sexy pants that we've been seeing out in spring training.
Oh, fuck me.
So I wasn't aware of this until you guys brought it up to me. Apparently, Nike's had fanatics making the pants now for these uniforms. And let's start with the more subtle. So apparently they're see-through. As you can see
Not
here,
apparently.
he has
It's
his
very
shirt
clear.
tucked in. So there you go. That's one image. Here's another one. As you can see, his.
Do you have the bigger image of this one?
No, I could look for it.
Because if you look at this one, another thing that pisses me off that I saw when I was scrolling through Twitter before hopping on, they're both wearing the white jersey in that picture, but the sleeves are different on both of them. The cuffs.
Oh, I
one
got
is
it.
like a really thin
Did you
black
guys send
line.
it to
The
me?
other one's
No, you
very
guys didn't
thick.
send it to me. Oh, I got it.
So-
I'll put it up on screen in a second.
The other thing I want to point out about these white uniforms is they're now cream. There is no white uniforms. They are like a very subtle cream.
Which is fine. Like that part doesn't bother me, but it's just it looks
bothers me.
so cheap. Like
They look
like,
dirty. It
like,
looks like somebody didn't put bleach in with the whites.
So what you're telling me that
dirty.
that the Yankees jersey now or uniform isn't going to be
I'm sure the Yankees
white
are
and
fine because the
pinstripes?
Yankees are the prize fucking jeweled child of fucking.
Well, it's like the
okay.
original. Well, the original image that started all this was the Mariners.
Yeah,
They had this year's jersey versus last year's, and last year's was pristine white, and this year's was like a cream. It looked like a yellowed almost. It doesn't look good.
And not only that, you can see.
And
I know the one that you're talking about, the Mariners one. Yeah, this is the one. So the guy on the left, you can see the thin. It's like a thinner black line, and then on the right, it's a much thicker black line. And it's like more. It's like more cuffed on the right. Also, it's a fucking disaster.
Well, these aren't the best pictures of the day, though. So let's get to the best pictures of the day. So let's start with
Spazzy's favorites.
One. So here you go.
You see Casey Schmidt's full testicles.
Yes, like they are in full display.
Full
steroid check right there.
These
full ball sack.
This is like who first of all, not just who thought this was a good idea for the pants, but who thought it was a good idea to publish this picture? Like
Photoshop, dude.
Oh,
that has to be Photoshop, doesn't it?
No, that's not Photoshopped. They should have Photoshopped it because we're staring at Casey Schmidt's balls right now.
Because this is the thing. Because this next picture I'm going to put up, my wife is convinced that it's Photoshopped because she said it doesn't even make sense. So here we go. My favorite picture of the day. There you go.
Full dick, man.
there it is.
Full dick, bro.
But where are the testicles then?
I think that's that little pouch you see, kind of like just below the gooch.
Dead center.
This is just
Someone
amazing.
was telling me that they think he's wearing a cup, but I'm of the belief that big leaguers I played high school and college. I never wore a fucking cup, and I played third. I did not wear a fucking cup.
Oh, in the hot corner?
I never wore. It was just so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable.
Wow, you are a brave man. In the hot corner, you didn't wear one?
I played D2 baseball too, man. I wasn't seeing 115 mile an hour exit velos or anything, bro. Like,
fair.
I was seeing fat corn-fed righties fucking roll it over to me. There was some smoked every now and again, but yeah, no, I never wore a cup, and I don't think big leaguers. I'd imagine like the talent that you have. Like I was a fucking D2 nobody that played third base. Like big leaguers with the amount of like capability and talent that they have like across the board. Like these dudes probably aren't wearing cups, so that's why I don't believe that this dude's wearing a cup. Like it's just like you see the perfect shaft, like you see it all.
Perfect shaft.
It's true. It's wild. It's wild.
Well,
and I haven't watched a full spring training highlights, right? But I've seen pictures from spring training, and I've seen some Yankee pictures. For those that don't know, I also follow the Yankees, and they look nothing like that. I don't know if the pinstripes helps cover that stuff up or something, but
so there's multiple problems with these uniforms. One of which is there are not enough pants to go around to teams. So the Cincinnati Reds are one of the teams that are wearing last year's pants because they can't get this year's pants.
That's fucking insane.
And so if you look at the jersey is cream and the pants are white.
Really?
When they were, yeah. And so then
this is major league teams that we're talking about.
Major league baseball.
Pitchers have a big problem.
Might be a beautiful
with this.
breakdown there.
Yeah,
And
pitchers have a big problem with this because they used to be able to send their measurements to Nike and get custom pants so that they fit right. Like, pitchers are finicky, so they want their pants to fit right. This year, they sent their measurements in, and Fanatics said, "Nah, we don't do that, man. We got sizes here," and they just sent them the closest size. And like, the fit is terrible. They're see through. It's a disaster, and
it's gonna get
this
addressed.
Is any indication to how Fanatics is going to do when they have the hockey jersey licensing? Like, we're going to have hockey players dying of frostbite or some shit.
Yeah, look, I use Fanatics, but I've never purchased Fanatics apparel, like the one that they make, because they make their own.
Yeah.
And I always stay away from the Fanatics branded. Like, I use Fanatics website to buy Nike and Adidas, whatever, but I've never bought because I don't trust them. And after seeing this, I definitely don't trust it.
Like the generic team T-shirts, like I have one for the Marlins and one for the Orioles, and like it's fine. Like the Take October shirt is Fanatics branded. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's a T-shirt.
Okay.
Like it is what it is. But like, I just don't understand how Major League Baseball lets this happen. Like, like this is absolute, and to the point that even guys like Jeff Passan and some of these big baseball analysts and writers and personalities are all saying like this is a joke. Like there has to be something done with this. Like, and it's weird because
the Players Association is involved too now.
Yeah, like this is like it's embarrassing, man. Like
it is.
Well,
this is like the type of shit I expect to happen in MLS. To be honest with you, like
so this is the best part. I saved the best for last.
Oh no,
they fucked up Cubby Blue.
Ooh.
It is not Cubby Blue. Yeah.
Next time you gotta send me all these pictures because I
they did an interview. I didn't see the side by side pictures, but they did an interview with I forget who on the Cubs it was, and he's like the Blues are different. Like I held the jerseys next to each other and they're different, and so like Cubby Blue is supposed to be a thing.
Why am I getting roasted by Mike today? Why am I the target?
This is similar to Cubby Blue, no? Like that royal blue. How do you mess that up?
Yeah,
it's like
it's like two shades off. It's like 2 shades off.
Yeah, it's like a touch darker than the royal blue, but yeah, it's a very specific blue. And man, how do you like? That's like messing. Like that's like giving the Yankees the wrong shade of navy, or like the Red Sox the wrong shade of red. Like how the Dodgers the wrong shade of like. How do you do that? These are historic franchises. Like I'm hoping that there's enough uproar that something changes. Like because
I think there has to be. This is embarrassing for a league that's one fighting to not become irrelevant, and two, they need to be taken like this is America's pastime. Like we are the most prestigious league in the country. Blah blah blah, and you're letting this amateur shit happen. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Mike V, you're absolutely right. It's Bluey Blue.
Shout out Bluey.
Bluey is the best show of all time.
Best show ever.
Yes,
I fucking love Bluey.
I throw that out there for my kids all the time. I was like, "You want to watch Bluey?" Because I'll sit there.
My
and watch
son watches it every chance he gets. He throws on Bluey.
No,
and I'll sit there and watch it with him. 100%.
My daughter's been homesick the last 2 days. I get home. I trade off with my wife. I was like, I'm fucking tapped out. I'm done. I see my daughter before saying hi, before anything. She just stares at me dead in the eye and says, "Bluey." I'm like, "Hi, good to see you." Yeah. She's like, "No, Bluey." I'm like, "All right, cool. We're gonna watch fucking Bluey."
Well, you know, my son is really upset because he found out that Bluey's a girl. Because he was like, "Bet Bluey represents me. Bluey's little sister, I forgot what the name is.
Come on, guy.
Bingo represents my sister, my daughter." And she's like, "Bet we each got one." He found out it's a girl. He's like, "What is this?" He no longer wants to watch Bluey.
Listen,
like, this doesn't represent me anymore.
Ethan's all in on Rusty,
the cricket player.
That's who we got.
Yeah, in the new episodes.
Yep. Spoilers. Sorry, guys, if you haven't seen it, but last episode of the new season.
I will tell you one last quick thing. My daughter was obsessed with Snickers, one of the hot dog on the show.
Yeah.
And there's an episode where she's constantly Bluey's yelling Snickers, Snickers, Snickers. but my daughter used to have a problem pronouncing the K and the C sound.
Oh no.
And when,
I know where this is going. Don't say this. We're live.
well, you know where that's going. And I had to put a stop to that immediately because she just got into the whole yelling that out. So yeah. Oh yeah. So that was my Bluey story. All right. I think we're done with the topics. Any final words, gentlemen? Bratton.
Listen, baseball's better with more balls and more bats in it, apparently. So keep your eyes peeled for spring training. If you guys can get out there, if you've never done spring training, like Spazzy's never been to Jupiter, try it. Get out there. It's a cool time. You can push kids out of the way and get stuff signed and stuff. So don't push kids.
And with those pants, you know how Spazzy always calls Sandy El Caballo.
Yeah.
They got to do something. They got to fix those pants, man. Cali, any final words?
No, man, I'm excited. Baseball's back. I watched the Padres and the Dodgers today. It was just good to see it again, man. Just to see the balls popping in the mitt. You know, the back cracking on the ball. It was great that the first
multiple levels.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
It was great that the first half of the inning that we saw was just a fucking moonshot fest. It was great, but get out to Jupiter. I know we as the battered hosts, we talked about doing a collective trip up there together. Road trip to go
Jupiter.
watch. So maybe we can see some of you guys, and yeah, man, the season will be here before we know it.
Mm-hmm.
You tweeted something out. I forgot what it was exactly, but I'm paraphrasing. I agree with you. There's nothing like hearing that ball hit that mitt when pitchers start. That sound, it's a couple sounds that hit me that way. That one, a ball going through a net like perfectly. There's a couple sounds, but that ball hitting that mitt is such a sweet sound. I really like. I
love that a lot of the teams were doing the ASMR, just kind of like sights and sounds from spring training, like before the games or anything. It's just guys throwing bullpens and like guys taking batting practice. You don't hear voices or anything like that. You just hear the crack of the bat. You hear the zip of the ball and the ball popping the mid. It's like, oh, this is good shit. Man. We're fucking back. I can listen to that shit for hours.
And we have to shout out, if you guys aren't doing it, Callie's been putting out these awesome polls every day.
Oh, for sure.
With the he picks a sports icon and says what team do you associate him with? And Twitter spoke, and Gary Sheffield is a Marlin. He never played for anybody else.
Yeah, I've been doing I'm in a group chat with my brother and some friends of ours, and my friend randomly asked, like, "Oh, who do you associate Plaxico Burress with?" I'm like, "Why the fuck are you asking about Plaxico Burress?" But I'm like, I said the Steelers. I'm like, yeah. He's like, no, it's the Giants, bro. I'm like, what do you mean the Giants? Like, oh, he won a Super Bowl with them.
That Super Bowl catch, yeah.
And not only that, like he shot himself in the leg when he was with the Giants.
While playing with the Giants, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know why. Maybe it's my age because I'm a little older than them. It's like I remember him with the Steelers. I remember being a baller with the Steelers.
Yeah, no, I do also, but I think that's Super Bowl.
So we started talking like, oh, what about this guy? What about that guy? And I just started writing them all down on a note on my phone, and I'm like, I'm taking this to Twitter. And the Plaxico Burress one popped off. I think I did Roger Clemens right after that.
Mike Messina.
I did Mike Messina yesterday. Today I did Pedro Martinez, and that one's way more lopsided than I thought it was going to be. But I have a new one every day. I think I'm up to like 60 players right now, players and coaches across multiple sports. So if you guys can think of any, send them my way. I'll add them to the list. One. Who's that?
What podcast do you associate Danny with, and then list all of them out?
There's not enough characters on Twitter for that, man. Elon won't let me use that one. It's actually a good one. I'm gonna use that one. Which one do you associate Danny with? Well, I'm gonna do the big three. I'm gonna do the Marlins, Inter Miami, and the Heat, and see what happens.
Yeah. All right, Dolphins is probably up there also, but I don't think they intertwine too much with the other ones. All right, well, we appreciate you guys joining us. If you are on audio, please leave us a 5-star comment, review, all that other good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And if you joined us in the chat, as always, we appreciate you joining us and chipping in. Hopefully Spaz joins us on the next one. Just because he wasn't here, I'm just going to throw his baby picture back up there. Shout out to Spaz. Hope all is well. And hopefully you're back in 2 weeks. We'll be back soon every week, but it's every 2 weeks for the next couple episodes. But we'll be back weekly very soon. So until the next one, have a good one.